Closing doors, please.
Do you guys give us permission to use this for our documentary?
Yes.
Okay, where you guys from?
Originally, I'm from Minneapolis.
I'm originally from south of Boston, Massachusetts.
I'm originally from south of Boston as well.
Where do you guys live now?
We both live on the Upper East Side now.
And I live in Fidei.
Okay, what do you guys like about New York?
I like how there's always something going on and there's a million different kinds of people. And I think one thing too that I have always noticed is that the way people dress here is so expressive, and that's very different than anywhere I've lived before. So it's kind of made me dress kind of crazier, which I appreciate.
You guys can talk collectively too. This
What?
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
What I have?
You guys want to jump in? Jump in, just make it a big thing.
Is it weird that we're holding these?
Yeah, it's fine. Everything is natural. Where you guys from?
Upstate New York.
Okay.
Did you say Boston?
South of Boston. South of Boston.
South of Boston.
All right. What do you guys like about New York in Brooklyn in particular?
It's more laid back than the main city, like in there, I guess.
You mean like in Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the different activities, like food events, and what else do we do?
There's a lot of cool restaurants and bars too that are like, there was one in a car shop or something. That was cool. There's a lot of those.
I feel like Brooklyn is more neighborhoody too
Yeah.
than some. I lived in Park Slope last summer, and that was my first experience ever living in New York. And I feel like now living in the city, it's a lot more laid back and just seems there's a lot of more like this kind of stuff going on, like relaxed people, families hanging out and stuff. Where the city's a lot more crowded and busier, I think. Yeah.
And the overall vibe, like it's not skyscrapery, so it feels like it's more. Yeah.
What do you guys dislike about it?
I dislike that there's trash everywhere. I went home to Minneapolis this past weekend, and the first thing I noticed was how green everything was. Like, it was a beautiful weather weekend, but then just the comparison of there's so much concrete here, and I know like that's kind of what makes New York, but I do miss the greenery and there not being so much litter and things like that.
I dislike the pigeons.
Yeah.
They sit on my AC unit, and I want to kill them if I had a gun. Like, oh my god, they sit on my AC unit and they poop on it. And
we looked into how to kill pigeons.
We looked into how to put like rat poison on my AC unit. I swear to God. And we decided if there's a dead pigeon on the AC unit, the whole thing is getting shut out the window.
They try to get into
our apartment. There's feathers in our shower thing. It's gross, and I just hate birds a lot, and that just is too much for me. Too much. So the pigeons definitely have got to go. I would choose trash over pigeons.
Yeah.
I really would.
The scent of urine I could do without.
Yeah. And the rats in the subways are like pretty nasty.
At least they don't have wings though.
But they don't have wings. They just like hide and scurry. It's fine. They stay down in their little subway area.
Any perspective on being a woman in New York or dating in New York? Or?
I think dating in New York is really hard.
Yeah, dating sucks here.
Shitty.
Explain.
I think you think like, oh, there's a bajillion people here. There are, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's hard to meet people who are not assholes that work in finance, I think is one thing. And I don't know, I think people here too, a lot of people here are very career focused and driven, which like I respect, and I'm kind of the same way, but I think it's hard to meet people without knowing a lot of people here to begin with, I think too.
Yeah. And like
connections.
Yeah.
There's you want to be on all of the apps and like you go on and you swipe or whatever, but then it's like putting in the effort to actually meet up with somebody and go do the whole like let's meet for a drink, and then it sucks, and then you go home and like the thought of doing that repetitively until you finally meet someone that you sort of click with enough to go on another date is just exhausting.
Yeah. It's
and after work you're like, I don't want to go.
After work,
I just want to go.
The last thing I want to do is make small talk with someone that I probably will hate.
Yeah. And it's expensive. Yeah. Like going on dates is expensive.
Well, we don't pay, so
we don't. Sometimes you don't have to.
Ever been to Queens?
LaGuardia Airport.
Yeah, I actually don't think I've ever been to Queens.
The Bronx?
I haven't been like out in Queens.
I don't think I've been to the Bronx.
No, I've only. Actually, I volunteered in the Bronx. It was just at it was like a health center, and we played games with people who have some sort of disability, and it was just like a group of us hanging out. It was through New York Cares, it's like a big volunteer org.
Staten Island?
No. I used to live in Bay Ridge though, like by the Verrazano Bridge, so I could like walk right over if I wanted to.
From a window.
But I didn't.
Last question. Since you guys said you guys have been here for a little bit and just visiting
Where would you tell no one, like anybody that hasn't been here before, where would you tell them to go?
To go or not to go?
Like both, you could say both.
I would say don't go to
Times
Times
Square.
Oh yeah. I hate it. Good.
I say like walking walking the Brooklyn Bridge is always a nice, like relaxed idea.
I like walking the High Line.
The
too.
High Line's always
Yeah.
nice. It's relaxed. Walking through Central Park is just like calm.
I also would
easy.
definitely say to come to Williamsburg too. I
Yeah.
think it like is a good representation of Brooklyn. I think Park Slope is a great area. I think
the 9/11 Memorial is
good.
would definitely go to.
Yeah, like
That's
there are some good
Battery
places
Park.
that are like
Yeah, Battery
touristy
Park
but not
and Fine
too
Art.
touristy.
It's like
Yeah.
up and coming.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Washington Square Park's really beautiful too.
Anything to say on current events that's happened here recently in any aspect?
I think that is one thing that I super appreciate about New York is that there are constantly going to be people rallying for what they believe in and marching and
we
doing
were here
things.
for the Women's
and we were
March.
yeah,
That was like
we can get involved
I
and
have
feel like
chills,
we're
talking about it.
yeah,
It's,
like making
really,
a difference.
Yeah, it's really cool to be a part of something.
Totally.
It's okay to have an opinion,
Right.
which is nice. It's
Yeah.
refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with. I'm not around in New York enough to really, be around like all the protests and stuff, but
There's always like something going on that you can
yeah.
like be a part of, and I think one thing I've been like lucky in my life where I've lived in places that share the same opinions that I do. I was in Minneapolis and then Madison, and here too I think people have kind of the same sentiment as in those places, so it's nice to be around people that have similar opinions to you, but it's also like scary when you encounter people that don't have those opinions. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.